Caught my wife sneaking into our neighbor's house at midnight. What I found inside shocked me. Hey Reddit. Last Friday night, something didn't sit right with me. My wife, Emily, had been acting distant for weeks. Her phone was glued to her hand, but every time I walked into the room, she would quickly put it away or change the screen. We've been married for 10 years, and while no relationship is perfect, I thought we had trust. But lately, I've had this nagging feeling that something was off. That night, I was lying in bed, scrolling through my phone, waiting for Emily to come back from her so-called late-night walk. She said it helped her clear her mind after stressful days. I didn't think much of it at first, but she had been taking these walks more frequently, always around the same time, and always alone. Curiosity got the better of me. As the clock struck midnight, I peeked out the window to see if she was still walking around the neighborhood. That's when I saw her. She wasn't just walking, she was heading toward our neighbor's house. Now, let me set the stage. Our neighbor, Mark, is a recently divorced man in his early 40s. He's charming in that annoying, overly confident way, and I've caught him giving Emily a little too much attention at neighborhood gatherings. I always brushed it off as harmless flirting, but seeing my wife sneak into his house at midnight sent a chill down my spine. I grabbed my jacket, waited a few minutes, and followed her. The air was cold, but my blood was boiling. I approached Mark's house cautiously, staying in the shadows. His front door was slightly ajar, and the faint sound of voices drifted out. I crept closer and peered through the crack. What I saw made my stomach drop. There was Emily, sitting on Mark's couch, laughing. But it wasn't just any laugh, it was the kind of laugh she used to reserve for me. Her body language was relaxed, her guard completely down. And then Mark leaned in closer, his hand brushing against hers. I clenched my fists, torn between barging in and staying hidden to gather more evidence. Before I could decide, something unexpected happened. Another person entered the room, a woman I didn't recognize. She was carrying a stack of papers and handed them to Emily. They started discussing something in hushed tones, and although I couldn't hear everything, I picked up enough words to piece together that they were planning something. I couldn't take it anymore. I pushed the door open, and the three of them froze. Emily's face turned pale, and Mark looked like he'd seen a ghost. What the hell is going on here? I demanded, my voice shaking with anger and hurt. Emily stammered, trying to explain. According to her, it wasn't what it looked like. She said she was helping Mark with some personal issues and that the woman was a therapist he had hired to mediate a complicated situation. I didn't buy it. The secrecy, the sneaking around, the late-night meetings, it all screamed betrayal to me. I stormed out before she could say anything else and went back home. I spent the rest of the night replaying the scene in my head, questioning everything about our marriage. The next day, Emily tried to explain again. She claimed Mark was dealing with a legal battle involving his ex-wife and needed emotional support. She said she hadn't told me because she didn't want me to misunderstand their friendship. But I couldn't shake the image of her sitting so comfortably with him, sharing a moment that felt too intimate for comfort. For the next few days, things were tense. Emily insisted she wasn't cheating, but I couldn't trust her anymore. Every time I looked at her, I saw her in Mark's house, laughing like I didn't exist. Then, yesterday, I received an anonymous email. It was a forwarded chain of messages between Emily and Mark. The contents were damning. They weren't just friendly chats, they were flirtatious, and some of them crossed the line into emotional infidelity. In one message, Emily admitted that she felt alive when she was with Mark and that our marriage felt stagnant. My hands trembled as I read those words. I confronted her immediately, showing her the messages. She broke down, crying and apologizing, saying she didn't mean any of it and that it was a moment of weakness. She begged me to go to therapy with her, to try and fix things. I told her I needed time to think. I've been staying at a friend's house for the past 2 nights, trying to sort through my feelings. Part of me wants to believe her, to work things out for the sake of our history and the life we built together. But another part of me wonders if this is just the beginning of the lies. I haven't spoken to Mark, and I don't think I ever want to. I'm filled with a mix of rage, betrayal, and sadness. Emily keeps calling and texting, promising she'll do whatever it takes to make things right. But I don't know if I can ever trust her again. I never imagined I'd be in this position, questioning the very foundation of my marriage. It feels like everything I thought I knew has been ripped away. So here I am, stuck in limbo, wondering what my next move should be. Should I give her a second chance and try to rebuild, or should I cut my losses and move on? As I sit here typing this out, I realize that there's no easy answer. All I know is that life as I knew it has changed forever.